Yeah! Hello and welcome to this cast game from the DEFCON 2 2v2 Warno tournament between Team VASCO and Partizan, and that's JaneSRBRUS and Pedrovsky, and they're up against Team Swinsurgent, which is swinedad and or swinedad, and I'm thinking like Trinidad and Tobago basically. So it's between a swinedad and Tobago. And they're playing as NATO. Their opponents are playing as Pact. There is no false NATO versus Pact. We're on Twin Cities. They've chosen a different ambiance to the default, which is more of like a sunset orange kind of one. Looking at the map, basically looks like Swinedad wants the right, which makes sense because he's got the armored div, or at least the div with more armor. They've opened fob, and yeah, so it's going to be FS Jaeger to Charlie, lots of forward deployed Milans and tows, so that's a Stinger, 2 FS Jaeger, 3 Milans, a tow, and a recon. So they're definitely going to get there, and they're definitely going to put some ATGMs in. Just looking at the opponent's divisions, 27Y, 79Y, they don't have any forward deployment between them apart from JaneSRBRUS. Behind that, you got Lux and Labs, a Gepard, another Fliegerfaust, and a Fob. On the right here, CV, and he's going to unload there, yep. And Stingers, Engineers, Airborne. So, guys going into Alpha, and they're sending a lot of people into the town. They really want this town, so yeah, Engineers, Airborne. There's a Milan 2 going here, forward deployed Milan 2. Airborne Dragon going here. You get Aufklärer going here. 2 CVs, infantry forward deployed CVs. Recon for the town, another Lux. On the left, bunch of guys. Stinger, Engineer, Tow, Sniper, Leader. And another Gepard. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this game. I don't know. I've never seen these players play before. I've seen Jane. I've seen a previous Jane game. That's on the channel. They'll all be on the channel, don't worry. All the future ones as well. Check out the channel. But I don't rate this at all because the map is very open, and sooner or later you're going to need tanks because tanks can drive forwards and backwards, and instead they've gone for, you know, an airborne division and an infantry division that gets some tanks, but really not that many. So these two divisions are incredibly powerful in 1v1 where the maps are smaller, but here, I think if your enemy just blobs tanks, you're going to have a tough time. Question is, can they get in? Because there's lots of points, and they've got loads of forward deployed CVs, so they might just win before the tick happen, before the enemy can get enough tanks. Switching to the enemy, so they've got, you know, motorized Razvedka, Spetsrazvedka, so they're also going to contest the town, which is interesting. SpetsnazGRU here, and then Razvedka BMP2s, which are very strong but very expensive. It's 60 for the guys and 80 for the BMP2. 2 SpetsnazGRU for here with a Razvedka BMP2, and then at the back, the first heavy tank, the T80BV, the only heavy tank, which makes sense because at the start you really want to get your these pack divs suffer from basically quite weak openers, so you need to get your, you know, your screening line and your AA. In this case, Tors, Tunguskas. I don't really agree with that. I think Pedrovsky should have just brought 2 cards of Cubs, but yeah, it's Pedrovsky on the left and Jane on the right here. So lots of AA, a few CVs of their own, like literally lots of AA. So we got a Tunguska there, a Tor there, a Tunguska there, a Strela there, a Strela here, Tunguska there. Because I guess they just feel that they can't contest the air with air superiority fighters because they'd be fighting into Tornadoes, Eagles, and F-16s. And that's going to be very difficult for these divisions. And they've got their own fobs, so instead they've bought 6 AA. I guess they were expecting a helo rush, but it's just a ground rush. So this is going to be really interesting, actually. So we'll cast the game, and I'll do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, and indeed everybody who's helping out the channel. If you're commenting on the videos, you're helping out the channel. If you're liking the videos, you're helping out the channel. If you're watching the videos, you're helping out the channel. So the channel members, they get their names on the screen. It's a great way to help out. And they get exclusive videos, they get the videos early. They're the main reason why I can afford to cast as many of these games as possible, because basically there's a lot of qualifier games, so I have to release them several times a day in order, because there's like 48 games but only 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks left, 3 weeks total, and so I got to release loads a day, which means that they don't get that many views, which means YouTube then recommends my videos to fewer people, because it's like, oh, they're getting less views. Of course, that's because there's so many videos. So the way the funding is set up is, you know, you guys support basically makes it so that I don't have to worry about that, and I can do this because you know, there's precious few people casting this tournament, and I think that's a crying shame. So Blue's got there, and they need to start killing these red units as fast as possible. So the BMP2s have to smoke, because of course the Milans will one-shot them. Although this is on return fire only. He's just switched that off. And yeah, +2 for Blue. It's going to be plus more soon. Over here, Insurgent really deployed quite conservatively here. I guess he's really not got a lot there, but he should have aimed to take this. He should aim to take this because he's an inf-div, and that's basically the best part of the map for him. There's Vedka BMP, so a lot of things are happening here, which makes it kind of hard to cover, but basically, I don't want to zoom out too much because then you can't see anything. Basically, you know, the guys are coming down the road and they're flying into all the Milans. So the Milans are flying, and yeah, this FS Jaeger's in a bit of a daft spot. But over here, right, so Insurgent, you know, they've probably put too many units here, to be honest. Like, they've managed to take the town, great, but there's no point here, whereas there is a +1 point here, so it's worth moving these guys up and taking these guys out. First bomber of the game, the F4F HE2, backed up by Tornado Sneed. So good airplay. He predicts there's lots of AA, but the Tor just went down on mid, and BTR-80 went down over there. So the Tor went down on mid, so the Seed goes in, he's like, is there any AA here? No. And then the bomber evac'd without dropping its... So I think that was just a micro mistake, because the Seed has quite clearly shown, oh, there's nothing here, don't have to worry. We've seen the Tunguska there. Tunguska's still got its anti-aircraft gun on there, but he's going to fly over the Strela, which is radar, which is not radar, which means that... oh, and he gets the other Tunguska there too. This thing cannot be sneeded, basically. Whereas that one can, and this thing has pretty decent ECM, and it took out 2 AA there, so that's really clearing the path for the bombers. But I don't understand why he. And look at this! Look at this! This is all income. All those trucks are being sold at once. Each of these is 20 points, and there were more that we just missed. They've just got a massive cash injection, and you see the LGBTs coming out. He's bought the ASF, but I don't understand why he's not using this. He's just scanned this, there's nothing there. He knows there's a Strela here, but he knows that this is all clean. Maybe he can't see them. He probably can't see them. So Insurgent and Swinedad, you know, it's working, because, you know, I mean, when you're playing against Airborne, particularly on a map like this, you have to accept that you cannot, at the start, their screen, right, their width, their wide picket line is simply just better than anything you can do. So you have to punch hard in one area. You have to identify places that you're willing to sacrifice and places you're willing to attack. So the LGBT comes in here, and he gets him. The Strela was moved back, you see. So basically the way I would do it is I would say, okay, where are the high levels? So this, you can never be Airborne in here, so don't even try. I would send no units. Maybe one. Maybe this one. I'm really not sure what happened to CV. Oh, he drove it over here. I'm not sure why he did that. It was fine here. Because, of course... Oh, I see. This is a +2 he's contesting instead of contesting a +1. Okay, that makes sense. So you're never going to be able to fulfill the full width of the map as well as they can. So you need to choose which parts of the map matter the most to you. Now, the way you can do that is you look at the points. This is +1, and you're never going to be Airborne in here. This is +1, and this is kind of difficult if you're against Airborne, because they're going to put 80 gems in all the houses. There's lots of houses. So your best bets are India +2 and Charlie +2, because if you lose badly enough, they end up getting to hotel. So what you do at the start is you just give up on Foxtrot, give up on Alpha and go hard in on Charlie and India. That's how I would do it. And this guy didn't drop his bombs, so it's because he target switched last minute there. But yeah, now the real air bully has started, and red is just spread too thin. Like, this isn't accomplishing anything. This isn't accomplishing anything. I would just have one unit here. Maybe not even that. I mean, one unit's good because you can contest the zone with one unit. Like, yeah, there's a CV going there, it's contesting the zone. So that makes sense. Whereas, right, so Pedrovsky's panicking a bit here. He's got a lot of guys that he's not unloaded. But what is the point of this? There's no zone here. You do need to keep like a couple guys in these buildings just to stop them from getting to hotel. And also to stop them from sniping you guys down here. But there's no zone there, and he's fighting a lot for no zone. Yet to see a single air superiority fighter for red. They're just investing a lot in ground-based AA. Over here, Pedrovsky's fighting here, and he's fighting here. Whereas Jane's fighting here and here. No, hang on. Jane's just fighting here. But over here, Jane has made some progress. He's managed to push this FS Jaeger out. So what they've done is they've put the cover mode on nothing here, so it won't automatically go into the building, and they're just going to hide it behind the building. Easy peasy. So some supply needed. Over here, the Airborne, they need to get into buildings, really. And he's doing it slowly over time. They're going to struggle to break through this. They do have supply, though, and the LGBT, basically, every 60 seconds. It's very silly. This is like the fastest resupply bomber in the game, the LGBTs, and they're also the strongest in terms of their damage power. It's just a strange mismatch which has been in the game since they were added. And they just haven't bothered to fix it. So this can kill things every 60 seconds. And so that's what they're doing. Every 60 seconds, a BMP3 dies, right? So down they go. And yeah, you got 3 units there because they're so close to each other. And now what they need to do is ping this, ping that, and then try and hit that next time. Or just come somewhere where the AA isn't, like here. So this is going really quite badly for Jane and Pedrovsky. So that BMP3 dies. Like, it's hard. All your stuff's tracked. It takes ages to get there. I mean, you can get guys in cars, right? But all your heavy stuff is tracked. And Pedrovsky, he's lost this zone. So yeah, I think it was just poor strategy. So now they've bought some artillery, which, okay, fair enough. Particularly, this thing is the... So I actually prefer the really heavy one, but I can't remember if Second Panzer gets it. And I do like the double Lars buy. That's what the fob's for. So you can constantly hit these areas. And I'm just surprised that Insurgent isn't going for this town, because he has a clear advantage in that town. But they're already +3. And so I guess the optimum play is just to cling on to what they already have. So that makes more sense. And of course, if you buy artillery, it should be firing straight away, really. He's actually bought 2 cards of Lars. So that's interesting, but they should be firing all the time. And in a 40-minute game, you will succeed in... oh, there we go. So he's seen a T-80BV, but there is a fighter here. And that gets routed, so it's not quite dead. The Phantom should really be going for the fighter. Tried laughing there, that was a mistake. And what? He's evac that, not sure why. So that routes it, but really, they need to deal with this guy. He's just sat there shooting him. There you go, so the Phantom gets 2 hits there, I think. And now, okay, so he's just firing 4 Lars there. Sure, I mean, they're this far ahead at this point that I think it makes sense, and they've got the fob. Basically, 2 Lars is 1 grad, so this is 2 grads. That's the way you can see it. So I think... Oh, has he changed it up? No, I just deselected some of them, and then he's told him to get to the fob. What you can do is that's hilarious. And yeah, so it got the T-80BV because it was on 1 HP. And what they need to do now is attack with all their guys. As these rounds are coming in, they need to be attacking. But they're only sending 1. Oh no, they're attacking now. But they should all be attacking. Should all be going. Because all these men are suppressed, getting suppressed, and so this is the optimum time to attack before they get their mojo back. So the Cubs have finally been purchased to deal with this air spam, but there's 6 minutes left here, and it's really not looking so great for Jane and Pedrovsky. They've just been outplayed a bit here. I really do think that they should have focused on 2 zones. and just try to win those 2 zones. But of course, you do have to then worry about this in the middle. But if the Airborne player's got loads of guys here, and loads of guys here, and you're just fighting here, then you've got an advantage. It also means that you're, instead of spreading your AA out and having it only deal damage but not kill anything or miss, you can bulk your AA up like here, and then it can cover both sides. So yeah, it's interesting. And the second Panzer blob, backed up by, in fact, it looks like both Swinedad and Insurgent are helping out here. And yeah, but more bombers coming in, more bombers coming in. So what are the purchases now for these guys? They're just going to keep buying planes. But look at, it's just red dying constantly, red dying constantly. They just get an air bullied. So they've done the smoke trick to try and get some points on the board, otherwise the game's going to end, right? But they don't have anything behind this to kill that tow cobra. Like, they've just got the cub. So this tow cobra is just going to sit there bullying this tank now, forcing the tank back. Like, this guy can't get out of this bush, basically. Whereas if they hadn't lost all these units here, and I mean they only lost 2 here, but then they'd have more in this central region. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's difficult. Like, it's not easy, but if they'd had a bunch of infantry here at the start, the Milans and stuff would have gone down, right? If there's like 2 tanks. But another thing you also have to do is smoke a lot when you're smoke your tanks, basically, so that the baddies don't come and kill them. So the Lars battery is going to open up on that BRDM2 now, which is what it's for. So this makes perfect sense. If the enemy's smoking like that, that's how you deal with it. You get your rocket launchers up, you get your artillery up, and you hit the smoke. Or you run guys in. So they brought some guys, which they're going to run in, but this will be sufficient. I mean, 4 Lars, yeah. So that goes down. This guy had to leave the zone because of how low he is anyway. That T-80BV just got hit, like, I'm pretty sure it was a side shot. But this thing does have 24 AP, which for some reason is in red, whereas the 24 AP here is in blue. And this was a better missile, because this is manually guided and this is Saklos. So yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, we got a cluster bomber coming in here, probably going to get that. And it does, so that's back up to +2. Oh, but then because they took this zone as well, it's going to be +4. And Blue have just ran away with this game. I thought they were leaving themselves open to be punched down by a big armoured blob. But the armoured blob never really happened. They spread their forces too thin, and they just got ground down. There was no armoured blob, but the LGBT goes down, which is big. I mean, imagine if they'd bought Cubs at the start and put them, you know, around here, and gone for these 2 zones. Then the air bully wouldn't have been so bad, and yeah, this wouldn't just constantly be happening where you just keep losing stuff to this air. I mean, this carousel of air just blowing everybody up, and then you can make some progress. This Airborne's just running at that tank. There's an Apache here. Like, that Igla has less range than that Apache, and the tank is in front of the Igla, so you do the maths. But yeah, this is very over. Let's just speed it up a bit. I mean, there's only 1 minute left, apparently. Don't want to waste too much of your time. So, to recap, you can't fight the whole map on these massively wide maps when you're against Airborne and you're a division with expensive units. 2 divisions with expensive units, which was perhaps a draft mistake, to be honest. They probably should have gone like 4th Marschützen or 56Y. 56Y would have been really good on this map because of the forward deployed aspect and the tanks with the bastions. Although maybe I think 4th probably would have been a better pick. Or just go NATO, because NATO's better in general. And yeah, focus your forces, punch through, and then you can worry about wrapping up the flanks with your blob. But yeah, that was rough. That was rough. So you got Insurgent here, ranked 413th, with quite a lot of ranked games. This is apparently me. It's not me, it's just the way it comes up. It's a bug with the game, it's been in for ages. Pedrovsky has 0 ranked games, 300 total games. And Jane's only got 3 ranked games this season. But they're all wins. But they're all NATO and he was playing Pact. So yeah, that was interesting. I want to see how many kills that. Oh, that's a shame. It only shows one player's kills, right? And he wasn't the guy with the LGBT. But it was really good cleanup at the start of the Tunguskas and the Tors. I mean, the Tor died to a Milan, but taking out those two Tunguskas with the Sneed really cleared the way for the air carousel. And their opponents probably should have just bought loads of fighters because you can cover more ground with fighters. But then you'd be fighting eagles, so it's an uphill battle either way. I think the best idea would be concentration of forces of the pack side. And, get some grads up after that. After the initial push, you get some grads up and then you just start hit it, move forwards. Hit it, move forwards. It's not easy. It's definitely easier to execute the NATO strategy than it is to execute the pack strategy. But that's the way it's always been. So please do let me know what you think. Please do leave a comment on the video. If you like the video, please like it. If you didn't like the video, please like it anyway.